Gen Z boss and a mini. Gen Z boss and a mini. Itty bitty titties and a bulb. Itty bitty titties and a bulb. 5'3" and an attitude. 5'3" and an attitude.
Spare change. Spare change, ma'am. Spare change. Spare change, ma'am.
Goobers and goobettes, welcome back to the Sammy Hutt Show, episode 5, officially 5, all right, officially 5. Last episode was not officially 5. We'll call last episode officially 4.5 because everything that could have went wrong happened. I was running late on the upload, the editing wasn't working, I had the camera all sorts of fucked up. My bad. 5th episode, we're figuring it out. All right? My fault. But we're back. Back better than ever. Back with, I think I'm going to call this one my final edition of the AI trade talk. You know, my final recording of me doing solo talking about it. Sorry, let me just bring my mouse over here. Yeah, this is a pro setup. This is, we're going to make it, guys. We're getting out of the trenches with this one. Oh, man. Yeah, what's going on? Hope you guys had a good week. I've had an all right week. Like I said, I was trying to get this upload to happen. Everything went wrong. Something I got to give credit to with these college kids is at least they know how to use these programs. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I'm learning everything from Professor GPT and studying at YouTube University. That's what we're doing here, alrighty? Yeah. We're having a good time. Man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, I gotta give it to those college kids. At least they learned something, right? But we're back, better than ever. Hopefully this upload actually works, because if not, I don't know. I'll have to find a different recording program or something, because this shit's a nightmare. But it's good to be back, you know. It's lots happening, a lot's going on. Let's just move this mic forward a little bit. Sorry about the noise. I don't plan on editing the noise whatsoever. Fuck it, we ball. Man, oh man. The website's up, guys. SammyHutt.com. Check it out. And if you like the videos, like, subscribe, leave some comments. I want to talk to whoever's watching this, see what their thoughts are on these subjects. But this is the last edition of the solo cast, Sammy Hutt Cast AI special. I don't know, that's what we'll call it. The AI trilogy or quadrilogy or I don't know. We like to have fun here. But yeah, I was trying to talk about it last episode about what I feel like what's going on in the world with this AI stuff and what do I think about it? You know, what as someone who lives completely outside the realm of having to deal with AI and foreign workers and stuff like that. What do I think about what's going on in the world? Well, there's a lot going on, you know. There's a lot going on. I mean, like, I don't have the stuff to pull it up, though, but I keep seeing how, like, even, like, these fresh college kids aren't getting jobs. I'm seeing just tons of layoffs happening. Not in, like, big numbers, but in the sense of, like, numbers that are big, just not, like, reported all the time, if that makes any sense. Sort of like numbers where they just keep dropping them slowly, like slow little drops, instead of like, all right, we're laying all you guys off. Instead, it's just one after the other, you know. But it's interesting to see. It's interesting to learn what's going on. Obviously, in my line of work, I don't have to deal with that all too much, but you know. Let's say the economy explodes or something crazy like that happens, then I might feel the effect. And that's what it is. You know, that's what it is. Well, what can you do, right? It's just, I roll with the punches. You got to go where the work is. And that's what it is, man. That's what it is. How's my week going? How else is my week going? It's going all right, man. It's going all right. Just, like I said before, just trying to figure out all this stuff with the production, trying to learn everything. It's definitely, I'm not going to lie, guys, it's definitely difficult with the start of this show. Like, If I made $1 for every hour I wasted with technical difficulties, I wouldn't be doing podcasting anymore. I would be rich. That's how many hours I spent fucking around with stuff. Hell, even earlier today, I spent like 30 minutes, not even 20 minutes trying to figure out why isn't my audio picking up, just to realize my microphone was off. You know what I mean? It's just that fucking screwy. But we're here. I could use a beer. Whatever. Let's get into it. What's going on? What's going on? What have I been seeing online? What really piques my interest? Why are we talking about AI again? Sam, you've been talking about AI for the last 20 episodes, even though there's like five episodes out right now. Yeah, we're still talking about it. It's still on my mind. We're gonna get on to different subjects soon. We're gonna have guests on eventually. I'm trying to work on my workflow, trying to make things smooth as possible. But first, we're going to finish up this saga of me ranting about AI for the next hour. So let's get into it, right? So I recently came across this YouTuber. Her channel's her name, Amanda Claypool. As far as I could tell, she's like sort of like a solo artist. I guess she worked for the government for a little bit. I guess she did this and that. But she kind of talks about a lot about how like AI is eventually going to be taking over a lot of female jobs, which I know sounds sexist, but once we go over the data, once I show you guys what's going on, it'll soon make sense on why this might be a big issue, all right? So let's start out by doing this video quickly, and then we'll get to the charts. So let's get into it.
Layoffs are here, and as we head into 2026, I think things are only going to go from where they are right now to much, much worse.
You know, I think it's kind of up in the air right now about like layoffs and stuff, right? I mean, we're seeing layoffs with Microsoft because H-1B visa workers are getting a lot of jobs in that sector, sort of like the tech sector. We're seeing some layoffs with, I believe, UPS, really just big corporations. And I think the two parts of it are obviously AI and H-1B visa workers. I got a couple of theories I'm going to go over, but first, let's keep going with the video. So we'll keep this going.
This is a video by Vanessa Wingard. She does fantastic work covering the implications of technology on society and on the economy. And I wanted to dive into this video because I think it really touches on what we're facing, not just in the coming months, but in the years to come.
I got laid off today. After 10 years.
I told you guys I was let go today after 20 years.
Today, I was laid off at Amazon.
And then I went to Amazon and I worked my literal ass off.
I keep getting job offers that are extremely lowered wages due to them knowing people are desperate.
I got laid off in May.
Now notice a trend of these TikToks. Notice what who's complaining about, not complaining, but ranting about how they're not able to, either they're getting laid off in mass or they're not being able to get a job. Take a note of that.
It is now the end of October. Look at all these open tabs. The job hunt right now, you guys. If you got a job, just keep it, okay?
Amazon recently.
So just right off the bat, if you've watched some of my other videos, you probably know where I'm going with this. Almost all of those clips there were women. And I think women in white-collar professions are going to be most affected by technological job disruptions that are happening.
Sam, she's based. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Sam, she's this. Sam, she's that. If you start looking at the statistics of men's main jobs versus women's, you'll start to realize how a lot of men are in physical labor jobs. So, for example, I'm an electrician. A lot of guys are electricians. A lot of men are tradesmen. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's like non-existent to have women in like physical trades or construction, because they are there. A lot of them tend to go into the union due to just better benefits, and quite frankly, it looks better for the union to have more female workers. But it's just between the stigma of the trades that has been received for the past like 40 years and the fact that, you know, I think with modern culture and how all these girl bosses promote videos about the day in the life of an office worker, it just has, I think women tend to go more to the college route versus men. I think there's a study out there. I'll throw some hard edits up anyways, but there's a study out there that shows that it's more women going to college than men. And if you look at the data between women and men in their fields of work, you'll soon see how these professions are very different for gender oriented. But let's keep going with the video.
Right now, a lot of the work that women do, it's not necessarily the high value work they think it is. They're not necessarily working, a full 40 plus hour work week, and they're just not generating as much value that companies are looking for right now. So a lot of the job cuts that are happening, they're going to affect women, and I think that's going to pick up speed in the coming months.
She said it, not me. All right, so obviously, I don't really know the woman's perspective of the workplace. I'm not a woman. I don't do office work. I don't know how true it is about who puts in the amount of effort. I know from a couple of friends and some relatives about their office life. Sometimes they have slow times. Sometimes they have busy times. Nonetheless, I try not to shit on people's jobs because I'm not one to talk. I've scraped to the bottom of the barrel getting into the trades because you need experience somehow. If you don't have a relative in the field, you got to learn it yourself. You know what I mean? But coming to that conclusion, it's definitely I feel like there's a tendency of more women go to these office oriented jobs. And like what we've talked about in previous episodes, how powerful AI is getting, how strong the industry is right now, what AI can actually accomplish. It's super interesting to like kind of see what's going on. And if you put 2 and 2 together, you start to come to realize, wow, like I can use this AI program to write out an email for me and, do XYZ. And we're starting to see slowly the automation of AI coming into the White Office workplace. It kind of reminds me of how like the Industrial Revolution, how instead of having people, having to there's got to be a person per thing, they now have machines automating stuff. And then you slowly see how like there's like one person running the machine versus 5 people doing it. And you know what? I'm actually going to bring up a statistic right now. These are most common occupations for women in the labor force. This is this statistic is from the U.S. Department of Labor. Most common occupations for women in the labor force. All right, so number 1, we have registered nurses. Now, obviously, we can't outsource physical labor. So by physical labor, I mean people who have to do physical things for their job. So I think nurses is an obvious one. I think nurses are going to be safe for the long run from AI and technology. Obviously, I think administration roles and people working the front desk might be a little bit worried about where this is heading. But registered nurses in general, traveling nurses, any sort of physical job, any sort of job that needs you to be physically there, I think is completely safe for the time being until robots happen. Even then, you take a look at these videos of robots online, and the technology is just still not there yet. But let's keep going down the list. Elementary and middle school teachers. I think teachers are still safe too. I think most people want physical teachers there. I think we've definitely seen during the 2020 COVID pandemic about like online learning, how just bad that is. Just using technology to that extent doesn't help anyone. I think a certain population in the U.S. can't read, or like not read, but like do long form math and stuff like that, which is definitely a problem. And I think COVID and the shutdown and kids not being in a school definitely had an effect on that. But let's keep going down the list. Managers, all other. Now, I don't know what all other means, but managers, I think that's a broad variety, right? Because you got some managers in certain companies, right, that probably have to like overlook what people are doing, and depending on how involved that has to be, I think some of it might be able to get outsourced by AI within the next 10 years, and some of it doesn't. Like, it's just too broad of a perspective to really say, but let's keep going. Customer service reps. Now I think we're starting to enter dangerous territory about what AI can physically do right now and what it might be able to do in the future and how this might actually affect real jobs and what's going on with it. Like customer service reps. Already we have on the phone, like if you ever call up customer support on the phone, it automatically, like recently I had to update my car insurance. And the first thing it brought me to was an AI assistant, literally just like a chatbot online over the phone. It was a pain in the ass to actually get the help I needed, but already you're starting to see how we don't need like customer support over the phone, so that's already getting outsourced to AI. And eventually they did transfer me to a real person, which was obviously some type of foreign worker in another country running probably in India or something, but it just goes to show that using AI, they're able to cut down the workforce. And, obviously we can't replace it all, but we're able to cut down the amount of people we need using AI, which is kind of a scary thing, but let's keep going. Secretary, administrative assistants, like I said earlier, except legal, medical, and executive. So we're talking white-collar office. Now, I've already seen ads online about AI assistants and AI secretaries. I'm pretty sure there's already programs out there and apps you're able to get, and you probably pay a monthly subscription to get an assistant, AI assistant. I think I've seen I think actually Amanda Claypool mentioned it before about how sometimes people get like especially in like real big businesses. I mean, we're talking like Wall Street, et cetera, but some businesses personally like to have in-person secretaries and assistants to make it look more official. But we've already seen there's already AI apps and stuff like that. That's all like secretary and assistant jobs. Now, I think we still do have a big secretary and assistant like workforce in person. But how much time until AI gets powerful enough and smart enough to when we don't physically need these people for these smaller companies? You know what I mean? Like when can we just, okay, I got this sheet of data, let's scan it on the phone, the assistant will take care of the rest of it. Or let me talk to this AI voice assistant, tell it what's going on, schedule this, buy the plane tickets, whatever. Hell, I was using ChatGPT on my phone earlier, and it was asking me to have a what kind of voice do I need on the phone? What kind of voice do I want? Dog, I don't want a voice on the phone. What the fuck are you talking about? But I mean, you've even seen it with the Teslas. The Teslas have the voices already. So the fact that we're already getting sort of like the Siri or the Cortana voices for AI, I think that's definitely going in the direction of assistants and secretaries might eventually be struggling with finding work. And like I said before, guys, I don't think we're going to end up phasing out everyone from this sector. But I think it's the same thing. We're going to be able to slim down the margins of people we need to where you might have 3 secretaries and assistants working at your business to now you only need 1 because that one assistant can just scan everything and enter it with the voice prompt and tell it, oh, XYZ, buy my boss a plane ticket on XYZ date. Bing, bada boom, bada ba, done. Scheduled. In the calendar already. You know what I mean? But let's keep going with the rest of this. First line supervisors and retail sales workers. Now, yeah, that's gonna, that's done for. That's, brother. Jeez. Those guys. I mean, obviously there might be 1 or 2 in-person people, but it's just one of those situations, once again, where I think AI is going to be able to actually like physically cut down the workforce we need and fully replace it with people. Now, there might be 1 to 2 people that can do a job of 4 to 5. That's what I'm getting at with this. So let's keep going. Accountants and auditors, that's all numbers. I genuinely think AI could do a lot of that work already. Hell, I wonder if I could do my taxes with ChatGPT. Wouldn't that be interesting? What else? Bookkeeping, accounting, bookkeeping, accounting, and auditing clerks. Once again, it's a white-collar job that involves numbers and paperwork. Obviously, there's more details to it. Obviously, there's still stuff going on, but the matter of the fact is that I think when it comes to a lot of digital stuff, when it comes to a lot of like non-physical, but rather you're entering stuff into a system, I think eventually AI is gonna get so good and so smart where we don't need to hire people for that. You might have one or two people running the show, and then they have AI assistants doing the rest of the work. We'll continue. We will continue. Financial managers. Now, that one's kind of weird because I don't know if I trust my finances with a clanka. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if I want R2D2 dealing with my Roth IRA and 401k that I don't actually have, but I don't know if I'd want a robot right now to be dealing with my finances, especially with my retirement. But like I said, depending on in the next, I don't know, I think the next 5 to 10 years, AI is going to get super strong. Hell, even sooner maybe. Who knows? Technology is evolving so fast, it's not even funny. Like 120 years ago, we basically developed the first airplane. During the 40s, we developed sonar technology. During the 60s, we got the first man to the moon. During the 80s, we discovered computers. 90s, 2000s, the internet. 2010s, smartphones, technology in our hands. 2020, dog, I don't even know what's going on now. We got AI, we got all this crazy stuff. It's going faster and faster. And I think that the fact of the matter is that when you have technology that's just you're able to get this information so fast, it's like a snowball effect. Like the more it starts out slow at first, and then the faster the information technology gets and how easier it is to like acquire, it gets bigger and faster and faster and faster. So we don't know how fast this AI revolution is gonna. That's what I'm calling it. This is gonna be the AI revolution episode. This is my tinfoil hat conspiracy theory episode. We did it. We got it. 5G can't touch me now. But for real, it is kind of scary thinking about how a lot of female jobs that tend to be white collar from this list from the Bureau could honestly be replaced by AI. But let's keep going. First line supervisors of office and administrative support workers. Dog. What? Gone. Goodbye. Nursing assistants. All right, I think we'd keep nursing assistants as long as they're not, on the computer and stuff and actually helping nurses out. It's just more that physical stuff. Office clerks, general, yeah, that could get outsourced. Human resource workers, HR. Yeah, I don't know. I genuinely think we might still have HR around, but I think they're gonna cut the slack off. We don't. Why have 5 HR workers when you could have 2 to 3 that have 6 AI assistants that you pay way less per year, right? What else is going on? Receptionists, information clerks, gone. Personal care aides, you're gonna need those. That's a physical thing. You need those in person. Education and childcare administrators, I think those are gone in the next 10 years. Cashiers is a weird one, right? Because it's like we already see in like grocery stores and just retail stores in general, self-checkout. Like that's already a thing. So who knows how long it's going to be till robots are scanning your items. I think that's something that robots could do actually pretty easy. Like pick up a box of cereal, scan it, put it in the bag. You know what I mean? Like they already have like robot health aides at the house that do like chores and stuff for you. I mean, how much longer is it going to be till robots are able to take over basic functions of work? No disrespect. Sales, retail salespersons, I don't know. I mean, it's the weird thing about sales is, right, like, I think sales might be safe from AI in certain parts of it, and other parts they might be cooked, like online sales. I don't know. Can you imagine trying to negotiate an online sales with like a robot? Like, I don't want to do it for this price. How about this price? Error 404 cannot compute. You know what I mean? Like, trying to actually like bargain with a robot salesman. All right, let's keep going. Teaching assistants, it's in person, so I guess maids and housekeeping cleaners. Yeah, those are going to be a thing for a while, but I mean, how long till robots get so affordable to when we don't even, you'll have your own robot that takes care of the house. I think that's another thing that's going to be coming up in the next 5 to 10 years is basic housekeeping robots, basic chore robots, basic worker robots, stuff that can just carry stuff, scan stuff, hell, even like flip burgers maybe. I think that could totally be a thing depending on where the money's flowing and where Silicon Valley wants to go with its information. Secondary school teachers, preschool, kindergarten teachers, medical assistants, post-secondary teachers. So, obviously, I think for like healthcare aides, teaching, certain sales, certain manager positions, I think those are going to be safe. But at the same time, depending on what exactly it is, it's still up for the cut. Yeah, let's close this out real quick. Yeah, it's definitely concerning to me in a way about where we're heading with AI and what's going on with it, right? Because like, what happens when AI gets so powerful and these people can't find jobs anymore? What eventually happens? Like, it's not like I don't know, an accountant can just go to another accounting firm. Like, what happens when AI is so powerful? I guess you could have like human accountant. There could be like companies that do like maybe it'd be like organic accounting versus like artificial accounting. You know what I mean? But even then, I think it's not the fact of the matter is that they could cut out everyone. It's that you could cut the slack. You could cut out, like I said, you got 10 people working at the accounting firm. You could cut out half the workforce, replace them with 10 more AI assistants that cost just as much, if not less, than having physical people there. Because with physical people, obviously you got to pay their salary, then you got to pay the insurance, healthcare, whatever comes with the bennies. Why would I pay $75K a year for a person plus more when I could just pay, $25K a year for a virtual assistant that's so powerful it does the same exact thing? You know what I mean? So I ended up looking up on ChatGPT. Chat, what jobs do you think AI will replace that is woman heavy oriented? Excuse my spelling on this. So we're going to take a look at this right now. Take a look at this. All right. Here's a safe, realistic, and non-stereotyped. I didn't ask for a stereotypes response, so I don't even know why the fuck it's mentioning this. I'm here for the facts and the facts only, and then we'll make jokes afterwards, all right? But first important note, when we talk about jobs that are woman-heavy, we're not saying only women do them. It just means those fields currently don't have a higher percentage of women based in the workforce data. Now, that is true, too. A lot of men do work management jobs. A lot of men do also work, customer sales reps, et cetera, et cetera. Hell, even over this week, I was looking at some power tools at the local depot, Home Depot, and it was a salesperson walked up to me, and I had a couple of questions for him. He had a couple of answers, but it wasn't like he was upselling me. I just asked him a few questions, and he gave me a few answers. Like, dude, you could have a humanoid robot, a basic robot walk over, blah, blah, blah. This is what I'm looking at. What do you think? What's this, that, this? Oh, yeah, here's the answers, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And it's like even if, like, the reason why they have sales reps, too, going up to people and asking them if they want is because these sales reps actually physically have to, like, unlock the cage because people steal shit, unfortunately. They got to unlock the cage and then they bring you up to the desk. But you could even have a robot do that, where you could have the robot secure the box, and let's say some guy rips the box out of the robot's hand. The robot could go like Terminator mode and just shoot you. No, no, just shoot you. No, but it could sound off alarms. Something could happen. Who knows? But it's like you don't even. Like, I think about this guy's job, and besides it's him probably stocking up on stuff and learning new stuff, I genuinely think AI could replace that. So this isn't a sexism thing. This isn't a stereotypes thing, whatever you want to call it. But, let's take a look. jobs with high female representation that AI is most likely to automate. Number 1, administrative and office support. What did I say? You know what I mean? What did I say? What did Amanda Claypool mention, you know? What was she talking about? When a queen speaks, I listen. All right? Now, these fields are predominantly women today: receptionists, executive assistants, office administrators, and scheduling coordinators. They already have apps like this where you could talk into the phone and it just records everything down. How soon until, let's say I need some guy needs to book a plane ticket. All right, ChatGPT, get me a Spirit Airlines. You wouldn't be flying Spirit. Get me a Spirit Airlines ticket to, Florida, whatever, at this time in this state. Beep, beep, boop, beep. Yes, here is the time and date. You know, it's like, how long until this happens? How long until we get, like, not physical, but, like, AI is so powerful that it can just do the job that these people do. Now, like I said before, obviously, I think certain firms and businesses are going to be wanting to keep some organic support to make it look more official. But still, it just goes to show, like, these jobs are definitely vulnerable to AI. And I think maybe not all of them are replaced, but I think, like I said, the theory is you could cut down the slack. You don't need that many. You could have, instead of 3, hire 1, buy 4 AI assistants that cost just as much, if not less, than the other 2. You know what I mean? Let's keep going with this list. Number 2, customer and support call centers. What did I say earlier about my car insurance over the phone? It was already AI. You know, it started off with AI, and then eventually it brought me to a human when I asked for it, all right? And why at risk? Oh, look, it gives you a reason. AI chatbots and voice agents are rapidly replacing repetitive support tasks. It is what it is. Like, dude, if you're working a job that, you know, you got to say a couple of lines, press a few buttons, send you over there, why can't AI replace it? You know, if the technology's strong enough and works well enough, why can't it cut down the amount of actual human people we need? All right, number 3, retail and cashier roles. Now this one, like I said, this one I'm a little bit conflicted about because I think, you know, with retail, you got shoplifting, you got people who are doing bad things. And obviously, sometimes you might need help, sometimes you might need this or that. But number 3, let's make sure we scroll down to that. There we go. Cashiers, front-end staff, and customer-facing retail roles skew females in many regions. Why at risk? Self-checkout, like the grocery stores. AI inventory systems. Fewer frontline retail positions. Yeah, so they're already cutting the fat right now with it. 4, data entry and clerical roles. What did I say? You know what I mean? Like, what about this is actually surprising at this point? These roles are heavily female-dominated historically. Data entry clerks, clerical assistants, billing and records processing. Why at risk? AI can automatically read forms, input data, and process documents. It's only going to get stronger from here, ladies, all right? It's only going to get stronger from here. Number 5, healthcare and administrative roles. What did I say? Oh, what a surprise. Not nurses, according to ChatGPT, but admin heavy roles like medical schedulers, medical coders, claims processors. Now, we're already seeing this with like IT people. We're already seeing this with assistants, so I guess scheduling and stuff like that. Hell, even claims processors. Why at risk? AI coding systems and automated insurance workflows are already rolling out. This is already happening. The beginning of the end, people. You hate to see it, but this is what it is. All right, number 6, bookkeeping and accounting. A lot of small businesses' bookkeeping roles are held by women. Why at risk? AI bookkeeping systems auto-categorize receipts and invoices and generate reports. what can I say, dude? What, like, I don't, that's the thing, right? Like, we have all these things coming up. I don't really have any answers. So, jobs that are, all right, so ChatGPT gave me this response, though, too. Let's take a look at that quickly. Jobs that are woman-dominated but not at high risk. These involve physical, emotional, and creative work AI can't replace. Nursing, teaching, counseling, and therapy. I don't know about therapy, dude. I'm already seeing a lot of these stories about AI giving people emotional advice, even though they're literally linking it from Reddit, those psychopaths. Early childhood care, social work, aesthetic jobs, high-touch hospitality, strippers. Strippers ain't getting outsourced to AI, so hey, that's not an answer, but it's just saying. Creative roles, design, writing, marketing. AI helps but doesn't replace. Now, I think with creative roles, that's a little bit different. I think it's in that same category of not fully replaceable, but they can definitely cut down the slack, cut down the workforce. Why do I need 5 creative creative roles when I could just hire 2, have AI design the rest? Hell, dude, even this website, dude. I did this website I made, SammyHutt.com. I put in the inputs and ChatGPT coded it. You know what I mean? I didn't have to hire anyone for coding. I didn't have to outsource to anyone. I just fucking beep, boop, boop, beep. Spent like probably 4 hours putting up the design. You know, got all the graphics going on. I do the updates for it. It's nothing too serious. I paid $55 for 5 years, bro. 55 for 5. You know, that's $11 a year. Versus what, like Squarespace? It's like $20 to $30 a month or something like that crazy. Yeah, so that's the end of that. Let's take this off the screen now. But you guys get my point. You know, it's a scary world out there. Scary to think about. Now, obviously, we're not feeling the whole force of it hitting us right now. I think the whole force of it is going to be within the next 3 to 5 years of it's really like once AI is really getting rolling, once shit's really happening. I think it's going to pop off. I think we're going to feel the effects. Now, I know a lot of the guys out there, a lot of the boys, might be even celebrating because, you know, you see all these TikTok videos about these girl bosses. A day in the life of a worker in Microsoft. Show up to the job at 9. Eat breakfast for 45 minutes. Have 2 meetings. Lunch. Go home. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I get it. I definitely think there's a lot of weird feelings going on with seeing that stuff out on there. But you know what? That's the way it is, and I think eventually AI might end up coming in and stealing some of these roles. And the reason why we shouldn't be hating now, the reason why I genuinely care is because some of these girls out there are our sisters, some of them are our mothers. You know, it's a little bit concerning to see how people's livelihoods and careers can just disappear in a snap, a little Thanos snap, you know. It's and hell, even guys out there, guys work in some of the same fields. So those guys, their jobs are going to be gone, you know. It's definitely concerning. And even with like, you know, talks about the AI bubble bursting, it's not going to go away if you ask me. And that's what it is. Now the AI bubble bursting, what is that? What am I talking about? I've been keeping up with a little bit of the AI bubble, which is, you know, these different AI companies throwing cash into each other without actually making a solid output of cash. I actually got a article. Oh, no, wrong video. Whoops. Not that one. Here we go. Can I interact with this? I cannot interact with this. All right, we'll pull up the article right now. Business Insider. This article is written by I have no idea who this article is wrote by. Jim Spellman. No, that's the image. Well, I don't know who this article is written by, but it's on the screen, so you guys can take a look. By Catherine Lee. So this is what the article says. Big Short investor Michael Burry says there is no way to no way to time or predict when the AI bubble will burst. Now, Michael Burry, the Big Short investor, you guys have probably seen this movie, Wolf of Wall Street. Is it the Wolf of Wall Street? No, it's not the Wolf of Wall Street. I'm sorry. It's the Big Short. I'm stupid. Michael Burry, he was, someone played him in the movie. He predicted how there's a housing crisis going on during the '08 crisis when the mortgage market was all sorts of fucked up. Lately, I've been following him a little bit online, seeing what he's saying. I guess he has a Substack. I'm not paying for that, obviously. I'm just reading the articles, but let's get into it. Michael Burry, there is no way to time or predict when the AI bubble will burst. Let's get down to the article. Michael Burry said there is no way to predict when the AI bubble will burst. Burry even said even if the bubble pops, it will likely not be apparent till a year or two later. Burry said it would be prudent neither to short stocks nor buy puts, blah, blah, blah. The article talks about, don't expect Burry to drop the information when the bubble bursts. Honestly, I don't expect him to because he's trying to make money off it. Hell, even... All right, let's read a little bit of the article. In Burry's new post on his Substack, the famed Big Short investor said that there is no time for the bubble to burst, blah, blah, blah. The bubble may still have room to grow, so obviously deals are going to be made. Shit's going to happen. Shorts are almost always short-term trades, usually less than a year, maybe a couple of years at most, Burry wrote, not 5, not 10. So if the bubble's going to burst, it's going to happen soon, not later. But let's keep going with the article. I believe today the stock market is a phase that could become a blow-off top of extreme magnitude on the upside, while at any time, maybe even today or tomorrow, making a generational top, Burry added. Now, I don't know if blow off the top of extreme magnitude is goes up or goes down, but something crazy is about to happen with it. It definitely could. Here, let's keep going. In the lengthy blog post, Burry answered the reader... I can't read, Jesus. questions on his earlier post. He argued there is a supply-side gluttony, meaning massive data centers, build-outs, GPU orders, multi-billion-dollar commitments without real end-user demand, which investors are mistaking for the supply chain activity. He attributed much of the hype being driven from NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang's marketing. Even when it finally tops, it will not be for any specific reason. Burry said that. Yeah, well, you know what? Let's leave it there. Is there anything actually important in this post? Not really. I think the point of this post, though, is that Michael Burry, the guy who saw the shorts happening for the, or saw the housing market crash. Oh, no, don't tell me I didn't even show it. Oh, rip bozo. Oh, that's funny. No, I don't know what's going on with it. Well, I just read an article without any images. All right, my bad. Well, this is it. What can you do? Technical difficulties on the Sammy Hutt cast. What can you do? I don't know. Long story short, Michael Burry is talking about how there's a bubble right now, or at least he thinks there's a bubble. Could pop at any time, couldn't. Now, going back around to how jobs are going to get outsourced from AI, right? I think even if the bubble pops, theoretically speaking, I don't think the whole AI issue is going to go away. I think it's still going to evolve. It's going to evolve in a different way. Something that I look back to is the .com bubble. I think that's the best example we have so far, where you had a bunch of websites and other stuff that was existing, and then it just fell straight through because it wasn't producing enough. Even if with that happening, we still have these new programs like Google and Microsoft and all this other stuff still happening, still evolving, still technology having. In a separate post, Michael Burry mentioned about Netscape and how ChatGPT, now I don't have this picture going up or anything, but in a separate post I saw Michael Burry was mentioning how Netscape could essentially become, or ChatGPT could essentially become the next Netscape, where, everyone's using it, but eventually something's going to happen and, no more. But I think even with that happening. So example, Netscape lost to Windows because Windows was free and it came with the computer. Even let's say ChatGPT disappears, funding stops, crashes, whatever happens, there's going to be other companies that are still doing it. So even if like ChatGPT fails, open source AI fails, there's going to be private companies, different smaller companies, startups out there who might be able to still develop the technology and still be able to somehow outsource workers. Now I don't know how long that's going to be. I don't know if this bubble is even going to pop. I read some things about how heavy the economy is with AI. The truth be told, I don't know. Who does know? You know what I mean? How can we tell? If you go on YouTube, you go online, you read about how the AI bubble is more, you'll start to learn about how much money is getting funneled into these companies. And how scary it is, man. I mean, like what's the end goal here, right? Is the end goal just to fucking outsource everyone's job so these tech companies can make all the money, and then there's going to be some excuse about how, no, wait, I know everyone's out of their job, but more free time. Like you know what I mean? I think what could happen with this AI stuff is that there could be a whole shift, a whole change in how the economy works, and we might be in the midst of a early stage of a technology revolution right now. Now I know this is a big tinfoil hat moment, a big tinfoil Sammy Hutt hat moment for the podcast, but I genuinely do think with what the data and the statistics I was bringing up earlier about like woman heavy dominated jobs, and hell, even guys who are in those fields, you know, with a lot of this office stuff, white collar work, it could eventually disappear due to AI. But for all we know, maybe not, you know, maybe I'm just a fool talking on, honestly, I am a fool talking on a screen right now, but you know, it's maybe something else is going on. Maybe something will happen. Maybe legislation will pass where people won't bring up jobs like this. Won't lose jobs. And so I tried looking at some other videos and other sort of, I guess, references. I guess information. We'll call it information. I've been looking at some information about how where trying to really get a feel for where AI might be going, and trying to I guess authenticate my theories. You know what I mean? Like trying to looking for any sort of signals, whether it be star signs, lines in the sand, fucking, I don't know. Just trying to figure out stuff. See if these predictions are right. Hey, we're back. We're still recording. All right, we're good. Sorry about that, folks. Episode 5, if I had $1 for every time everything was failing around me, I would be a gazillionaire right now. So, I hope I didn't lose any info, you know what I mean? I hope I didn't, actually lose anything. Let's take a look at, so I recently saw a Theo Von, Sam Altman podcast. This, I think, was recorded a few months ago. I think it was episode 599, where Theo Von, the comedian, had Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI and ChatGPT and whatever else, on the episode. And they're kind of talking about where AI might be going. So, and what's going on with it and people's jobs and et cetera and et cetera. So let's take a look at the video. I'll try and show you how insane these tech CEOs are about where they think this is going to be going.
Say we're able to get to that space, right? Like the movement that happens with AI and with just technology, which will advance quicker, I think, which is one thing that AI feels like to me. It's a fast forward button on technology.
It really does. It really does feel like we're going through this revolution right now of this big snowballing effect. 1900s, we developed planes. 1920s, we developed, modern shipping and stuff like that. 1940s, we developed sonar. 1960s, we got a man on the moon. There was a 60-year gap of how fast we were able to figure out flight. 1980s, computers. 1960s, we had these giant computers. But still, you get the point, but let's keep going.
And on possibility, because information can be quantified so quick, and a lot of more menial tasks, even though they're not really menial in people's lives. But
no, that's true. You know what I mean? Like I said, these administrative roles, these roles of jobs where a lot of it's just entering data and putting in information. AI, you scan it with your phone or scan it with a printer and then just click a few buttons and the information's in there. How long before that becomes a reality, But let's keep going with the video.
But menial, hypothetically, can be done quicker to get a lot of the framework for things done fast. But how will people survive? Like, how do we adjust our structure of finance, if some people own the companies that have the AI, and then a lot of people are just using the AIs and the agents created by AI?
That's a good question. How are people gonna fucking survive if there's no more like a lot of these woman heavy oriented jobs that aren't available? What are women gonna do? Are women gonna be doing labor intensive jobs with men? Are they gonna be are men who work in finance and management, like what are they going to be doing? Let's keep going with the video though.
To do things for them. How will society, like societal members, still be able to financially survive? Will there still be money? What is that? Does that make any sense? That
it
question?
Totally makes sense.
Okay, sorry.
I don't know. Neither does anybody else, but I'll tell you my current best guess.
What? You know what I mean? Like you're the guy. You're the guy. You're doing the thing. What do you mean you don't know? You're the guy rolling this out and saying, yeah, tough luck, see you later. Like, what? Like, how do you not have an answer for this? If you're rolling out the technology that's could possibly eliminate thousands of jobs, how do you not have a fucking answer to, well, what are people going to do with the free time? Fucking beats me. I'm like, what? How does this make any sense? I don't know. Why would he care? You know what I mean? Why would Sam Altman care? It's not his issue. It's our issue. It's the working people's issue. It's people like you and me. Sorry, you and me. It's our issue now. It's not his issue. He's just raking in the dough, and we're the poor souls that are giving it to him, I guess, whether we like it or not. Let's keep going.
Okay.
Well, I'll say two guesses. One, I think it is possible
his best guess
that we put, GPT-7 or whatever in everybody's ChatGPT. Everybody gets it for free, and everybody has access to just this like crazy thing, such that everybody can be more productive, make way more money. It doesn't actually matter that you don't like own the cluster itself, but
how I saw this YouTube short recently of how people used to have to work 40-hour work weeks because these jobs didn't have the technology and computers to like require us to or they didn't have the technology and computers to make it fast, so we had to work these 40-hour work weeks to get busy. But now with like computers and just the internet, you hear about a lot of office workers who have like all this downtime and slow season almost, where it's like they just don't have a lot going on, so they just kind of kick around the office, hang out, go on a Reddit, you know what I mean? Like I used to know a guy who would when it was busy, and he worked for like some, I guess HR. He worked this job where he'd have like managing nurses and sending them to different places, but when he has nothing going on, he would just scroll on his computer and just look at like guns or something and something like that, you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't like what I'm getting at is I don't know if people are going to be making more money even with the ease of access. You know what I mean? With AI. But let's keep going with the video.
Everybody gets to use it. And it turns out even getting to use it is enough that people are like getting richer faster and more distributed than ever before. That could happen. I think that really is possible.
Tech lords are getting richer and faster than before. People who develop this technology are getting richer and faster before. Schmucks like us stay poor. We are the proles. You know what I mean? Let's keep going with the video.
There's another version of this where the most important things that are happening are these systems are discovering, new cures for diseases, new kinds of energy, new ways to make spaceships, whatever. And most of that value is accruing to the.
Now that's true in a sense. I don't know how deep about that, but I think AI is making an improvement of like how fast we can, like depending on which AI, I guess, how fast we can look up stuff, how it can like I guess essentially like really develop technology faster. Like I guess you see with like let's say for example you see like a human versus a computer playing a chess game, how like certain supercomputers can win like majority of the time. You know what I mean? Like modern computers can win majority of the time versus the average person. I think with the access to the internet and access to thinking, of course it's going to be better. with certain stuff. Let's keep going with the video.
Like cluster owners, us, just so that I'm not dodging the question here. And then I think society will very quickly say, okay, we got to have some new new economic model where we share that and distribute that to people.
All right, that's the end of the clip I want to show you guys. But like what Sam Altman is getting at is, I think with this AI stuff, there's going to be a whole change in how the economy works, essentially. It's not going to be the traditional way where, you know, you're born, you go to school, you go to college or a trade. I guess with tradesmen, we don't really have to worry about AI like that. But, you know, you get out of you get out of school, you go to college, and you go work. Well, now it's like with AI and stuff like that. When AI gets so powerful, it's replacing jobs. Like, how do you make money? The clusters, you know, like not everyone's gonna be owning an AI company, dude. Fucking not everyone's that smart enough for it. The real answer is I don't know. The fuck do you mean you don't know, dude? Like, that's the scary part about it. Like, what's the answer? Universal basic income? Where's the money coming from? Where's the money, Lebowski? I don't know. All right. I guess I got another clip I want to show you guys about what Sam Altman kind of thinks about what people could do with their free time when AI takes over the world. So let's take a look at this clip real quick.
You know?
What are you most afraid of with it? Or is it just that we're not going to have purpose and we don't know how it's all going to go?
Yeah, I mean, those are some of the huge parts, but I think like there's like probably that. I think that in the end, I think there's a general feeling.
Yeah, I'm worried too, dude. I think everyone's worried. Like, what's the point of living if you have no purpose? You know what I mean? Just to lounge around all day and kick it by the poolside. Hey, where's the money coming in? How am I supposed to pay my bills? How am I supposed to eat? What? Like, all right, let's keep going with the video.
Of like, well, if all the trucking jobs disappear, you know, if those become automated and.
By the way, I think if you automate truckers, that's insane. You know what I mean? Like, you want like how many ton vehicle driving on the road without a human being in it? You know what I mean? Like, I'm a little bit worried about the AI self-driving cars on highways and freeways. I mean, I guess cities, that makes sense. But even then, I just don't think the technology's there yet. It might be someday. Well, the fuck if I know. But let's keep going.
And like, yeah, if everything becomes a robo-tax, like, you know, will that feel, you know, where will those people go for jobs? Will everybody just be dancing on TikTok trying to get people to tip them for trends and stuff? You know, like there's part of that. I had this dream years ago that it all ends with everybody's driving an Uber and literally holding each other at gunpoint to be each other's passengers, right? Like, get in my car, because that's how bad, like somebody.
Whoa, Sam Altman having his own private driver. He pays off with his own payroll, dude. Like, whoa, he doesn't give a fucking rat's ass. Why would he? You know what I mean? Like, that's not a his issue. That's a you issue. That's a me issue. That's an us issue, my friend. Man, oh man, oh man. That's not a dream Theo's having. That's a fucking nightmare. That's what he's having. But let's keep going with the episode. Let's keep going.
He's like, I need the fare more than you do. You know, my whole family's in the back seat. Sit shotgun. We'll get you to where, you know, like people are literally holding each other at gunpoint to subscribe to their OnlyFans and stuff. Like, it's just that dystopian or whatever. So I guess part of that, but then there's a deeper part where it's like, yeah.
I would say with all this AI stuff, it's getting pretty fucking dystopian. I think we're slowly entering the Cyberpunk 2077 universe. There's just gonna be dudes hanging out on every street corner, just kicking a can. Yay, choom! You want to get some lunch? Like what? Like what? Where? Get a job? Like you can't get a job because there's no jobs. All right, let's keep going with the video.
What comes out of us if it feels like a lot of the regular stuff that gives us purpose, that we know right now gives us purpose? Is there a new evolution of our purpose? Is there like a blooming inside of us? Is it this utopian place that you almost think of as like a heaven idea where, you know, people are fed and have enough, you know, are provided for, can take care of themselves? I guess that's it. Or what? Because purpose gives people work.
Is he talking about like UBI? Like what is he? I guess he's talking about like what's the answer in some ways, right? I mean, what is the answer when in the next 5 to 10 years, if this whole AI thing really rolls out, which we're already seeing it happen, but what's the answer when AI gets so powerful that we lose all the jobs and stuff? If it happens, I'm kind of crossing my fingers saying it doesn't, but I wouldn't put my money on it. I don't know. I don't know where the future's headed to be honest with you. Let's keep going with the video.
Work gives people so much of their purpose, and so for to lose those things, what is it? What happens? And I know I kind of keep asking that over and over again. You don't really have the answers, and it's okay. Of course, how could you? We're not in the future.
I mean, I think people really do love to be useful to each other, and people love to express their creativity.
Yeah. No. No, they don't. I think between friends and maybe a good neighbor you have or two, the reason why I go to work as a tradesman, as an electrician, and I go out and I help people is because of money. I need money to live. I need money to pay my bills. I need money for retirement. The reason why people work is for money. I mean, obviously, if we had income coming in that could pay the bills and whatnot, I guess that makes life easier. We don't have to worry about feeding our families. But then what do we do with our free time? I don't know. Let's keep going with the video.
Is part of that. Mm-hmm. And
yeah, I mean, I guess, right? Expressing my creativity when I'm making a Microsoft PowerPoint or something. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's keep going.
As the long-term trend of society getting richer has continued, more people, I think, are able to get closer to.
What, you mean the 1% getting richer? You know what I mean? All right. I mean, even with getting richer, you can't forget the inflation. Ever since COVID, inflation's just been insane for everything, right? I mean, hell, fast food, for example, right? Didn't a burger used to cost $2, $1, $2 from the dollar menu? Now McDonald's is charging $3 for a fucking burger, but let's keep going.
Just sort of expressing themselves in the best way that they can. Maybe as recently as 500 or 600 years ago, not very many people got to be artists. The world wasn't that rich. There were a limited number of patrons.
Yeah, because everyone was a fucking peasant and a farmer, just like what we are today, basically. We're all fucking peasants, dude. People weren't able to express themselves 500-600 years ago. Yeah, dude, because we all died in our 40s, from disease. What? All right, let's keep going.
That could pay you to create art, but there were more than zero. And before that, there were almost none. And then you got this beautiful Italian Renaissance and all of this amazing art because there was excess capital in the world.
We're going to put a pause on that. Yeah, there was still artwork pre-Renaissance, you know what I mean? Think of Roman, think about Greek, think about Byzantine, think about Ottoman, think about pre-Ottoman, you know what I mean? Think about all these kingdoms where the kingdoms were thriving and they were able to create their own art. The Renaissance happened for periods and reasons, and we'll get into that in a second, but to say there was barely any artwork coming out pre-Renaissance is kind of ludicrous to me. I think you can get a whole college degree, honestly. It might not be a useful degree, but you could get a whole degree on studying these pre-Renaissance arts, but let's keep going.
And now a lot more people can be artists, or a lot more people can start startups, which is another, for me, that's my expression of creativity.
Right.
Or more people.
Yeah, of course it's starting a startup. That's the only fucking thing you know how to do, dude. Which I guess, I guess you could call ChatGPT its own art in a way, its own unique chatbot. I've always viewed ChatGPT as sort of the internet, but in a more centralized hub, an easier way to access and get information. But hey, man, I call stand-up comedy an art, so I get it. Let's try and finish up the video.
People can create content.
Yeah.
And this idea that
content. What? You want to see some 20-year-old dancing on TikTok and that's what we're going to call an art, or some guy doing a lip sync to a video and we're going to call that an art? Come on. It's fucking slop at best. This whole modern day art, half of it's slop, dude. You know what I mean? It's a far shot for calling content art. Yeah, all right. Let's keep going with the video.
people can find whatever way they can to express themselves, their talent, their vision, for kind of collective love of other people and a care for putting their brick.
Once again, people are in it for the money. People are in it because they got to pay the bills, dude. Let's keep going.
In society's progress, I think that can go
brick
really
by brick
far. Now, what art in the future looks like now that AI can make art or help make art, I don't know. It'll probably be kind of different. What startups will look like.
I just ripped ass, and I think the fucking my vocal software caught that. That's funny. Let's keep going with the video.
In the future, when people can kind of just say whatever they want to their AI, and it can make the software for them right then, it will kind of be different. But I think it's such a bad bet to assume that either human creativity or human fulfillment from being useful to other people ends. I think we stay on this exponential, and like each year, each decade, our collective standard of living goes way up. The whole world gets way richer. We all get more. We all expect more. And
I would say the collective living is going down in some ways, dude. Like with inflation and everything else, how expensive it is to live in this country. You know what I mean? Like, you really got to make a buck or else you're on food stamps, you know? And that's what it is. But Sam Altman was referring a lot to the Renaissance. That's like what we might be going through. I beg to differ, and I'm going to show you why. So let's take a look. This is ChatGPT, and I asked Chat. Here. Let's pull this up real quick. All right. I said, Chat, what started the Renaissance? And ChatGPT said, the Renaissance didn't start from one single event. It was a mix of several big changes happening at the same time. Here's the simplest breakdown of what actually started the Renaissance. Number 1, the fall of Constantinople. The fall of a whole city brought a bunch of Greek scholars that fled to Italy carrying ancient Greek books, scientific texts, and art techniques. So the fact that a whole mini civilization fell is one of the reasons. Now, obviously today, where we have the internet and how fast media can be exported, I would say we don't need a whole city to fall to create the Renaissance. But that sort of reminds me of like how the internet works, like information, how fast it spread. That's kind of why the Renaissance happened in Italy, because people who specifically with Greek history brought their information over to Italy, which caused inspiration. Let's keep going. The Black Death. Millions must die. No, millions must live. Gem alert. It wiped out millions of people, but afterward, the labor market became more valuable. People questioned old systems and wealth shifted. I hope that's not what this Renaissance is gonna be. What the I'm making fun of Sam Altman, but using his program. People became more interested in science, medicine, and life on Earth instead of just religion. Yeah, I'd think if everyone's dying around me, I'd be a little bit curious too. Number 3, Italian city-states were rich. Florence, Venice, Milan. These cities became wealthy from trade and banking. That's obviously because of regional, where it was in the region. It's on the Mediterranean. People with this type of money spent it on art, architecture, science, and education. Obviously, while the rich get richer, they can also indulge in more stuff. Is the Renaissance really going to affect the working man, or is it only going to, the Renaissance, the modern Renaissance, is this going to actually affect the working man like myself and you guys, or is this just going to be a benefit for the ultra rich? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Number 4. The rediscovery of ancient Rome. All roads lead to Rome, baby! Yeah, they were looking at some old statues, Roman architecture, blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait, there's more. Number 5, invention of the printing press. Now, all right, I get this sort of reference from Sam Altman with ChatGPT. I guess you could call this the modern-day printing press or something, where... I guess it is, really. How AI is making shit so much easier and it's so much more available. So, for example, for this. Books became cheaper, knowledge spread across Europe faster. Scientists, artists, and philosophers could share work. Now, I guess in a way with ChatGPT, it's kind of like that too, in its own way, which makes sense. That I will give it to him. Actually, no, that's the last thing. So, in short, the Renaissance started because Europe got hit with new knowledge, had more money, questioned old thinking, and millions died. That's how the Renaissance happened, and that's what Sam Altman. I don't know if obviously not millions will die. You know, I think he's still human in some ways, but you know, I actually also looked up the Byzantine Empire, and I looked up some other stuff about what happened when the Ottoman Empire conquered Byzantine, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. What matters is what's going on today and what's happening right now. Yeah, so chat, we might be cooked. I don't know. What the fuck do I know, dude? I'm just an electrician. Oh, man. I hope this video comes out smooth. I hope I don't have to do any hard, crazy edits. I think everything's probably going to fall apart again, but who knows? Maybe I fixed the issue this time. I think I did. We'll see what happens. Sorry if I'm, like, low energy today. I'm just kind of tired right now. I've just been, like, I kind of fucked myself last week, and to be honest with you guys, with the late upload. I was staying up too late, drained my resources too fast, one might say. But, you know, it is what it is, right? So, in conclusion on this podcast episode, I think long-term, those white-collar office jobs are slowly going to disappear. I think Sam Altman isn't thinking clearly about the working man. And number 3, we might be cooked. I don't know. Fuck it. We ball, right? This is the Sammy Hutt Cast, episode 5, guys. You like the episode, subscribe, comment on what you think is going to happen in the future. I think next week we're going to play around some more. We're eventually going to get some guests on with the show, but I want to get that workflow, the workflow, that's what chat calls it. I just want to get a smooth way of running the show, and I'm still working on that, unfortunately, with those technical difficulties from last week. But like I said, if you like the show, like, subscribe, tell me what you think about it in the comments. Until next time, have a good night, guys. See ya.